Hey, it's Michelle Hudgens with Smitten with First, and today we're going to be talking all about ocean activities to use in your classroom. So you can use these activities to review skills that you have already learned throughout the school year. I'm going to be sharing some math activities, some literacy activities, science, and then some like anchor chart or butcher paper activities. So before we get started, I want you to tell me, what is your favorite summer activity? It could be a summer activity with your family or a summer activity in your classroom. So for my family, we like to go to the beach. Doesn't happen every year, but when it does, we absolutely love it. And then another fun or favorite summer activity is we just get to sleep in and not have a schedule, which is so nice. Okay, so I'm going to start off with some math activities. The first one that I want to share, and there's a couple of different ways that you can do this one. So this one is building sandcastles with shapes, and it is one of my very favorites. So you can make this very hands-on by using kinetic sand, and I like these tubs because they come with a lid. And I'm going to have everything linked in the description below. So I have these in my Amazon storefront. Love these because they have the lid. And then I'm also going to have the freebies that I'm going to be sharing. Those are going to be linked in the description below, as well as some of the activities that are resources in my TPT store. So this is just kinetic sand. And again, I like to put the sand in one of these tubs because it has the lid, so you can just put the lid on it. Whoa. You can just put the lid on it and not have a mess. Okay. So you can do this a few different ways. If you are probably kinder, you're going to be reviewing 2D shapes. If you're first grade, you're more than likely going to be, or second grade, going to be reviewing 3D shapes. So I want to show you a couple things. So these cookie cutters are shape cookie cutters, and these are from Amazon also. Again, I'll link these for y'all. And then there's also these 3D shapes. These are transparent, so they're also really good if you have like a light table or something in your classroom. And then there's also these huge blocks. These are fun too. If you have a block center, you probably have something similar in there. But you can make this a hands-on station. So like a sensory station where they're going to be building a sandcastle in the sand. So they could, let's see, let's move these out. So let's say you're reviewing 2D shapes. They could be pressing the shapes into the sandcastle to create, or into the kinetic sand to create a sandcastle. And then they can talk about how many squares do they have in their sandcastle? How many ovals do they have in their sandcastle? And then if you're an older grade level, first or second, then you could have them build a 3D one. So they're just going to be stacking these up. And they could talk about how many cubes do they have in their sandcastle. That sort of thing. And then afterwards, how many pyramids do they have? How many cones do they have? So you could just have them build it. Just let their creativity run wild with this. It's fun. It's an inviting station. It's not paper pencil. It's just a fun activity. And then what you could do as a follow-up activity. So I forgot to show y'all these. So these are the bigger block ones. These look more like sand, a little bit more realistic if you wanted to use these. So either way, it's just a fun activity for them to do. And then as a follow-up activity, you can have them create sandcastles on paper. And I love this one. It comes, this one is available in my TPT store, and it comes with 2D shapes. There's a 2D shape one, and then there's also a 3D shape one. And then they're having to record on the recording sheet how many of each shape do they have, how many sides does that shape have, how many vertices. And what I like to do is just put all the pieces pre-cut inside of a tray. You could just throw these in a big rectangle tray. You could put them in one of these like chips and salsa trays that you can get at the Dollar Tree. So there's the 2D one, and then there's a 3D one. So depending on what skill you're reviewing with your class, you could have them build this. Okay, and then, I'm trying to move all this stuff out of the way, there's so much. Okay, so then another activity is you can graph sea animals. So again, I'm trying to share like a couple of ways that you can do these activities to give you some options depending on what you're wanting to do at the end of the year and also the age level of your students in your classroom. So you could create a class graph, and these pieces are free. Actually, everything, even the the name cards, these are free as well in my store. So you can have your class, you can create a class graph, and you can talk about which animal. So you would say, what is your favorite ocean animal? Which one has more? Which one has the least votes? How many more students like a dolphin than shark? That sort of thing. You could also do it on like anchor chart or butcher paper on the floor and make it a station. So I like these butcher paper, or not butcher paper, these craft paper rolls from Amazon. You can buy them in pretty much any color, and it comes with a lot of paper. They're not too big, so it's perfect just to roll it out over a table group or to put it on the floor, and you're not taking up a ton of space. So for this one, I just wrote ocean graph, and then I made 3 categories. And let me try to make this where you can see it. You can use these same ocean picture cards. Again, these are free. I'll link them, but this would be laid out on the floor or on a table, and your students can, let's use these over here actually, and your students can graph ocean animals. So let's say they want to do jellyfish, sea turtle, and clownfish. If you have those little ocean animals, they're like little manipulatives, they could match them and graph those. If you don't have those, then you could use just some pom-poms that match the colors. So like a jellyfish, you could do a pink one. And I actually don't have a pink pom-pom in front of me, but let's change this out for a crab so that it'll match my pom-poms. So you've got crab, sea turtle, and clownfish. So they're just going to be graphing the pom-poms that are in the bucket. So you could just put out a few red ones, a few green ones, a few orange ones, kind of make it different amounts. If you wanted to also add something else to this, so you could make this like a fun little crab grab or grab like a crab activity. You could do some little pinchers and have them pretend like they're a crab, and they're going to be pinching the pom-poms and then graphing them. And then again, they could talk about how many more, which one has the most, which one has the least, that sort of thing. And then if you need a follow-up activity to that, or you want a little bit more accountability, you could give them this graphing fish page. This is a freebie as well, and they're just graphing 4 different types of fish. Another graphing activity that you could do if you don't want to do Ocean animals is this one is just a fish graph for the colored goldfish. So you could ask a parent to donate some colored goldfish to the classroom, and then you could laminate these or put them in the wipe-off page protectors and have them graph the different colored fish. They could create a picture graph, or they could create a bar graph, whichever skill you're wanting to review. So this one would be a picture graph, and then this one would be a bar graph. So again, a fun and inviting station for your class. Oops. So you get the idea. And something too that I wanted to say, I forgot to mention this at the beginning, but if you don't want to set these up like as stations in your already existing centers, what you could do is you could have a day, like an ocean day, where your students are rotating all day long through every single station. So you could just have them in table groups, like table stations. I always love table stations. They're easy. It gets everybody in the classroom involved at the same time. Everybody's moving. You could do that, or you could just put them put these in your math station, put the other ones in your literacy station, however you want to do it. Okay, I'm gonna move this one actually over here. Whoops, I'm out of space, you guys, out of space. Okay, so that is graphing. And move this over here. Okay, next up, you could have them measure. So a measurement activity that I wanted to share with y'all. Oh goodness, so many buckets. Okay, these measurement cards are free also. So these will be a free download as well. I'll link them in the description below, but it's just all different ocean animals. And then they're going to be measuring the length of the different animals. And you could have them, I like to have a little measurement tray with just a bunch of different options. So they could, for first grade, kinder and first grade, it's non-standard. But if you're second grade, then you could also have a ruler in here. But you could just have some different non-standard items. So some little flat marbles, some seashells. These are the little Swedish fish gummies, goldfish, and then some cubes. And they're just going to measure the different pictures like so. So you could do the cubes, or you could do one of the other ones. And then also another fun activity for this is to get your craft paper. You could do craft paper, anchor chart paper, or butcher paper. And they can measure coral reefs. So all I did was I took, so crowded in here. So I took just some different colored tape. I think I got this at Amazon. If not Amazon, Hobby Lobby should have had it. It's basically just like washi tape or painter's tape, but I just tore them off in different lengths and made them in different colors. So you could do it with tape, or let's see, if you don't have tape, you could just create it with a marker. So you could just do some little squiggles, however you want to do it, and you could just make them all different lengths, like so. So with tape or with marker, and again, this could be out on a table and your students are rotating in table stations, and this is one of their skills that y'all are reviewing for the end of the year is non-standard measurement. So you have this on the table. How exciting and fun for students to see this instead of a worksheet. And then they see this fun tray of all these different non-standard items that they can use to measure. And then you're also going to hear lots of great conversation as you're walking around making observations. How many seashells long is the orange coral reef? How many bubbles long is the orange coral reef? So just a fun, hands-on station activity. Okay. And what I also like about this craft paper is it's double-sided, so you can reuse it, but also you can do multiple different activities. So you could have a measurement activity on one side, and then maybe you have like a coin activity or something on the other side. Okay, so I'm gonna move this out of the way. I might keep this tray just in case I need it for something else. Okay, coin treasures in the sand. I want to show you this one. So if you're reviewing money, counting coins, counting a collection of coin, or coin identification, whatever your standard is that you're reviewing, this is a really fun activity for students. So these mats are actually in my coin pack, and I'll link it in the description below, but this one is Treasures in the Sand. And then this one is Chest Full of Treasure. So you could put these in the wipe off page protectors and then have them, let's see, they can write on this, write the amount, or you could do the Play-Doh. So I like to use the yellow Play-Doh or the brown Play-Doh because it just makes it a little bit more realistic for sand. So let's put this. So let's say you're reviewing counting a collection of coins. Also, these are great for skip counting too. So this again is in my coin pack, and it comes with these coin cards. So if you're skip counting, there's some of them with just one coin. Then there's also some cards with a collection of coins. There's just all different varieties. So we've got nickels, there's dimes. So if you're skip counting by tens. So let's say you're working on skip counting by 5. So you're gonna have all of the nickel cards in a little tub. They pick a card, they have some coins. You could do real coins, play coins, and then they're going to count. So we need 3 nickels. So they're gonna put 3 nickels in the sand, and they're gonna count 5, 10, 15. This is 15 cents. Okay, so there's one way to do it. Another way to do it is with a collection. So like this one, they would get a quarter. So they could write it, or they could just talk to their friend or the other students in their station about their coins. So that's a fun activity. You could also put this on your craft paper. You could do your brown craft paper and draw some treasure boxes and put the amount on there, and then they're having to find those coins that match that amount. So let me show you really quickly. Let's see. This stuff over there. My goodness, so much stuff. Okay, so you're just gonna take some craft paper. So I like that this isn't super, super big. So I'm just gonna cut a small piece just to kind of show y'all one way that you could do this. Okay. All right. So you've got your big piece of paper, and this is on the floor in a station, and you're gonna draw some treasure boxes. It doesn't have to be perfect. Students aren't looking for perfection. They're just looking for fun activities. Let's say, and then this is the little lock. Okay, that works. And then you could put your amount that you want them to build. So let's say you want them to put 15 cents in this treasure box. So so you would have a bunch of different treasure boxes on here. So let's do another one. Y'all don't judge my treasure boxes here. And I know that one of the first grade standards is to show multiple ways to build an amount. So if you're doing first grade and you're reviewing this, you could tell your students, okay, when you go to the treasure box station that's on the floor, I want you to show me multiple ways that you can build that amount. So 25 cents would be a quarter. 25 cents might also be 2 dimes and a nickel. And you're walking around the classroom while they're at these stations and you're making observations, having those reteach moments, that sort of thing. So this is another fun review activity that you can do for ocean activities. You could also even put the cards in there and they could build that amount in the treasure box. However you want to do it. Again, I like to show you multiple ways that you can do these activities. Okay, let's see what's up next. So I think I've done all the math activities. We did measurement. Oh, no, I have a couple more that I wanted to show you. So this one is for place value. This is probably my favorite. So you're going to draw jellyfish, the top of a jellyfish on your big oversized craft paper, anchor chart paper, butcher paper, and then you're going to have some base 10 blocks. These are just the foam ones, but you could use whatever you have in your classroom. And they're going to build that amount by making the rest of the jellyfish. Tentacles, is that what they're called? I think so. So, okay, on the jellyfish, so this one's 15 cents, so we need 1 10 and 5 ones. How cute is that? And how fun. Like, they're gonna wanna go to this station. You could also put this on your whiteboard. So you could just put it up here with magnets. And let's see, these are magnetized. So put it up here with magnets. And then if you have the magnet base 10 blocks, they could do the same thing and build it on the whiteboard. So whatever you want to do, however you want to do it. It's just a fun place value activity. So that one is place value jellyfish. That's just what we're going to call that one. This one is called scuba riding. And if you're familiar with headbands, so years ago, probably almost 10 years ago, I shared headband activities that you could use in your classroom for inferencing, and there was just, I think there was place value ones on there, just a bunch of different ways that you can use the headband. So you can either use the headbands that come with the game, but what I like to do is just simple sentence strips. So you just take a sentence strip, and this one, you could tell your students that like they're getting their scuba gear on and getting ready to write words. So you could use some fun different colored sentence strips, but you're just gonna take a sentence strip, staple it. The student is going to put it on. Oh, made that a little too small. And they're going to be with a partner. So one student's gonna be in their scuba gear, and you're going to write, you could do words that you're reviewing, like a skill. So let's say you're reviewing digraphs. So we're gonna write a word with digraph on here. So let's say we're going to review the word fish. So you're gonna put fish on here. The student with the scuba gear is going to have the word on their headband. So I'm gonna have to write the word on my scuba gear. So the student across from me is going to say the word fish, and I'm going to have to write this word. I'm gonna be holding the board and I'm going to be spelling my word. So the student across from me is going to say, your word is fish. And I'm going to be sounding it out, decoding. Fish. And the student across from me is going to let me know if I spelled it correctly or if I didn't spell it correctly, and they're going to help me spell it correctly if I didn't spell it right. So they could give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, whatever you choose to do in your classroom. You could also have, you could do like decodable sentences if you want something a little bit more challenging. So like if you're first grade or second grade, maybe you're doing sentence writing. So you would already have the words and the sentences on these. The students aren't writing it on the sentence strip. You're actually doing that. So let's say the sentence is, I see a fish. And so what you're looking for is you're wanting to make sure that the students are capitalizing the first word, they're doing their finger spacing, they're using their punctuation, they're decoding. You could even laminate these and use them year after year after year. So the student across from me reads, so you're practicing reading, you're practicing writing, you're practicing decoding, all of those skills. So the student across from me would say, I see a fish, and I'm going to write it on my board. So I'm gonna be like, ooh, let's see. I'm gonna do my finger spacing, see a fish, and I'm gonna show it to my friend, and my friend's gonna say, uh-oh, you forgot something on your sentence. I'm gonna say, ooh, I forgot my period. So we're working on that correction, helping to correct each other, working on all of those important skills, recognizing it in the sentences. So you could do decodable sentences, you could do words that you're working on for your skill, your phonics skill, or you could even do vocabulary words if you wanted to that go along with the theme. So this is scuba riding. It's a fun activity. Okay, next up is, this one is a Pop-It board, and this is on Amazon. I like this one because it's a game, so you're going to have dice. Put the dice in the middle. You're gonna have two students working together with one mat. I'll link this mat too. But you're going to have them work on words, reading words. So let's say these word cards are in my store. It comes with all different skills, short vowels, long vowels, digraphs, vowel teams, all the things. So you could have the words in the middle. They flip over a word, and this one student has to read the word, so seeds. And if they read it correctly, they're going to roll the dice. They're going to add, so they're working on adding also. So 4 plus 2, 6. So they're gonna pop 6 ocean bubbles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They keep their card. The student on this side is gonna draw a card. Wheel. They read it correctly, so they're going to roll. They're gonna add. 5 plus 5 is 10. So they're going to pop 10 ocean bubbles. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so you can do this one of two ways. Every time they get a row of 10, they could, so this is where they're gonna be keeping their score. So every time they get a row of 10, they could add a point to their scoreboard, or you could have it every time they fill all of the 10s up. So whichever way you wanna do it. But this is Pop-It Bubble Words. So again, they're practicing, they're reviewing some math skills, adding, and they're also working on reading. So I love this one. Okay, So another one I wanted to show you is a compare and contrast activity. So this one goes really good with this book, Sharks and Dolphins. It's a compare and contrast book. I have this linked in my Amazon storefront as well. Or if you have the National Geographic, like the nonfiction, well, really any nonfiction dolphin or shark book is going to be great. So after you read these books, maybe you make an anchor chart with your students about some similarity and differences with sharks and dolphins. And then they are creating a Venn diagram. So depending on the age of your student, so if you're doing end of your first grade or end of your second grade, you're probably going to want your students writing. So this one is just blank and they can write the similarities and differences. And then again, you could have your anchor chart up with all of this stuff written on it, and that way they have that as a reference. Or you could use this one that comes with the picture cards. So these come together in a resource that's in my store, and I'll link it in the description below. But this one is probably more for end of year kinder because it has the picture cards. So that's a fun compare and contrast activity. I'm not even gonna bother with trying to put those back in there. Just making a big old mess over here. Okay, next up, okay, I want to share a couple of building words activities to kind of piggyback off the pop-it words and the scuba writing. So let me make sure. Okay, so this one, you're going to use your anchor chart or butcher paper again. So I just put some vocabulary words on here. Fish, coral reef, seashell. You're going to have this laying on the floor. Oops. And your students are just going to build these words. So you could use the letter beads or, so let's see, I should have had some of these letters out. But they're just building the word with the letter beads. So let's just say that this says fish. So they would lay the letters out and it would say fish. Or you can use these magnetic letter tiles. I think these are from, actually it's right here. They're from Hand to Mind. So they come in this little tub. They're all lowercase letters. I'll have those linked in my Amazon storefront too. But what I like about these is that the vowels are red and the consonants are blue. And then they're magnetic. So it's an easy way to clean up. So they could build the vocabulary words, or you could just lay out a bunch of the word cards. So let's say you are working on reviewing long vowels. So you would just have some long vowel words on here, and they're going to build the word underneath it. So let's just say this says, I don't want to waste y'all's time with building these words, but let's just say that this says bone. So they're going to be building the words, and then it cleans up really easily. Where did my little thing go? There it is. Cleans up easily because whenever you tell them it's time to clean up, they can just swipe. All the letter beads or letter magnets stick, and then they can just swipe it off and put it back in the bucket, and then pick up the cards and put the cards in the bucket too. So that's another way that you could build words. So for the water activity, I just filled up a tub with some water, and you can talk about sink or float. So this could be an experiment. You could have this as a station, however you want it to look in your classroom. So I have some sink or float cards. These are free. And what you could also do is make a graph. So maybe you have this with a pocket chart, and you could have your students sort what sinks and what floats as they're doing their experiment. So let's say they have orange. You're gonna wanna put some different items in a tub. They're gonna put the orange in there, and they're gonna see if it sinks or if it floats. And then also, whoops, what you can do is you can have them fill out this recording sheet, totally optional. There's a prediction spot, a result spot, and then they're gonna write the item. So let's say the next item that they get is coin. So they're going to write coin on here. And they're gonna talk about with their friends, do you think this coin is gonna sink or float? Ooh, I think it's gonna float. So they circle it, or they could color it in, whatever you want them to do. And then they're going to find a coin. They're gonna put it in the water and see if it sinks or float. It sinks. So the result is sink. So lots of good conversations with that. And then if you wanted to, you could have them also sort it. So we know that the coin goes over here on sink, or you could make this a graph and they could graph sink or float. However you want to do that, but they're working on sorting. They're working on making predictions. Lots of good science standards being hit with this one. Okay, so that's that one. So for the Seashell one, some of the science skills that they're going to be hitting are working on sorting, talking about size, texture, color, shape. You could also have them do some see, smell, feel, hear. So they're working on properties. So you can create a picture graph or a bar graph on your butcher paper for this station. I'm going to show you how to use that here in a second. Or you can do a Venn diagram on one end and a T-chart on the other end. And when you do these kind of butcher paper activities, they are so perfect for anything. So you can use them all year long with any theme, any skill. I'm gonna have to move, sorry guys. I'm gonna have to move this water out of the way. Hang on just a second. Okay. So let's do this one first. So I've got some seashells in a bucket, and these actually come as a pack on Amazon, and I believe you can also get them at Hobby Lobby. And then I have some seashell cards with real photos. These are free in my store. So let's say we want to talk about some different properties of seashells. So we've got colorful and dark. So maybe we're sorting by color. So I'm gonna put all my colorful ones over here, all my dark ones over here. And then maybe there's some that have both. So this one has a little bit of color and a little bit of dark. So that one is gonna go in the middle. So you're creating a Venn diagram. I love this activity. Lots of vocabulary, science vocabulary going on in that station. Then you could also do a magnifying glass, and they could really do some investigating on their seashells. You could also do a T-chart. Maybe you want to talk about their texture. So you are going to sort rough and bumpy. So, ooh, this one's bumpy. I'm gonna put it over here. This one is rough. I'm gonna put it over here. Maybe you have the card that has smooth. You could also do by shape, round, and let's see, pointy. So they're sorting by that, or you could have it by size. So small and large, sorting by size. Or if you wanted them to work on graphing also in that station, then you could have them use your pre-made bar graph or picture graph that you created on butcher paper. So this would be on the floor. You would have all of these activities laid out, or all of these cards and seashells laid out. So you would be sorting or be creating a graph. So let's say we're going to create a picture graph with small, large, and medium. And I actually need to flip this graph, but y'all get the idea. So we have small, medium, and large, and they're just creating a graph, picture graph. Okay, another activity that you could do with the seashells in a science station is have them make observations for see, smell, feel, and hear. So they're using a magnifying glass. You could put this in a wipe-off mat where they're using the wipe-off marker if you want them to be able to reuse it, or if you want each student to have their own, you could just print this out and have them write it. But they're pulling seashells out and observing them. See bumps. I feel that it's bumpy. You can even do where they hear the ocean. They love that. So there's that. This is free in my store, or free. I'll give you the link to download that. It's free on my blog. And then these cards are free also. Okay, let's see what else we have. So this one is, they are making fractions with sharks. So if you're reviewing fractions at the end of the year, these are always a lot of fun too. So these are fractions of a whole, and they can just make, you could print the template on colored paper and have it ready to go, or they could color it in however you want to do it. And there's a couple of different options for the recording sheets. So that is the shark fractions, and I think that's everything. I think I went over everything. I will have all of this linked, all of these activities linked in the description below. And then you can also find these things on my blog. Any of the little manipulatives or little activity pieces, books, those will all be in my Amazon storefront. And I believe that's it. Thank you guys for watching, and don't forget to let me know in the comments below what your favorite summer activity is to do, whether it's in your classroom or with your family. And thank you again for watching. I hope all of these activities are helpful to you and give you some ideas that you can do in your classroom to just bring in some fun and some engagement, movement, all of those fun things into your classroom this year. Thanks for watching. Bye.